are aware, if you miss one Saturday, because, you might have something else going on than making cocktails with me, then you can go to YouTube and watch them. I record them on Instagram and then do some sneaky things so that then I can post them on YouTube. So this week I was thinking, if I just go right to YouTube Live, more people can see it, more people can tune in, and it's going to be a lot easier to post those recorded sessions. But it turns out, at least right now, that I don't have the technology yet. So anyway, so here we are on Instagram, and let's make the best of it. I know I will. And we're making a beautiful cocktail today. We're going to make the Aperol Spritz, but we're not making the classic Aperol Spritz. Oh, no. I'm going to make some Hipcooks versions. So, oh, nice. Yes, I love that you're here. I miss Italy too. And I love it. I love all things Italian so much. So, I don't know if you guys know, my mom is German and my dad is from Argentina, and de facto, like all Argentines are Italians. So I speak Spanish, pero anche parlo un po' di italiano, sai? So I've spent a lot of time in Italy as well, and I have family in Venice, in Giudecca. I'm pretty lucky, so they're right off the canals there. And I also have family in Ancona, so that's southern Italy, and I also have family in Portovenere, in La Spezia. So that's also really beautiful, in Genoa. So I'm lucky. I can visit my family, practice my Italian, eat delicious food, take the train all around. So I love doing that. So welcome. Let's get started today, shall we? So this is a fun Instagram Live for me today because so far in basically 2 months of Saturday Shakedowns, we have always had our cocktail shaker and our ice, and we've made some really classic cocktails together, haven't we? That's been really fun. By classic, I mean, of course, there are always Hipcooks twists, right? I always take a little bit from the garden. I sprinkle in various flavors. I like to say when the kitchen meets the bar, and we create a fun kitchen-influenced cocktails. But our cocktails they followed a formula, right? If you've noticed, we've had sweet and we've had sour in our cocktails and booze. And it's generally some sort of ratio of booze to sweet to sour. And then we've used lots of culinary herbs and other ingredients to make these interesting cocktails, right? Well, I'd like to venture with you, just open the door, if you will, to the land of bitter. Personally, I don't have a sweet tooth. I've got like a real salty palate, for one. And when I make cocktails, I think the reason why the formula of sweet, sour, and boozy cocktails, why I need to add herbs to them, is I'm really like adding that element of bitter. I like an intriguing, mysterious cocktail. I like my cocktail to be refreshing, but not too sweet. So today, for an Aperol Spritz, let me kind of take you through the basics, and then let's twist it around, because I like to do that. You guys know me, you know I like that. So an Aperol Spritz will use Aperol, which is an Italian aperitivo, like Campari. You can use either. They're this gorgeous red color, and their flavor has a real bitter note in the back. The red color actually came from this really freaky beetle. Many herbs in this well-protected recipe, over 100 ingredients. Someday I want to make Campari at home. Maybe now is the time. And generally homemade Camparis, unless you have this particular beetle or lots of red dye, which they currently use, I know, it won't be red. It'll be kind of like a pale brown color. But I intend to do that, or conceivably maybe I'll add a little beet, or I'll add something to make my homemade Campari red. But essentially, it's a very bitter flavor. And then both Campari and Aperol, they do have a lot of sugar in them too. So they have a little bit of a sweet note. So I like these guys. I use these guys. But if I'm looking for a bitter cocktail, like we're making today, and if you don't have Campari or Aperol, that's okay. There's some other fun things. I'm going to use this. This is called Suze. It's from the Alps in France, and it's very herbaceous, very bitter tasting, and a little hint of sweetness. Not as much as what's in the Campari, but I love making cocktails like this with this. And you can substitute this, if you have it in your liquor cabinet, for today's Aperol Spritz if you don't have Campari or Aperol. Later on, I think in our Saturday shakedowns, I'm gonna make a dandelion cocktail with this stuff. You picking up what I'm putting down? So really bright and sunny. I wanna make a simple syrup with dandelions, and we'll make a really interesting, fun, out of the box cocktail. But if you have Suze, great. It's so fun to use. I love it. So, oh, hi Andy, my sister's here. Hello. Another nice cocktail to make today for the Aperol Spritz, if you don't have Campari or Aperol, is do you have a little bit of Fernet Branca, also from Italy, also considered an aperitivo, but a medicinal. These can be had as an aperitivo or even as a digestif. You can have, my grandfather always had a little glass, like a little dainty glass of his Fernet that he would drink for cocktail hour, sometimes with soda, but even sometimes on its own. In fact, I'll tell you a family story of little Monica. I liked all kinds of alcohol when I was a really little kid. I'd go and I'd like take sips of everyone's cocktail. And in fact, it was one of my dad's party tricks. This is allowed. This is in the early 70s, right? So one of my dad's party tricks was to have me take a little sip of cocktails and I would identify them. I'd be like, oh, that's a gin and tonic. Oh, that's a scotch and soda. I would know them. So at one point, my grandfather was like, oh, you gotta get this little girl off the booze. She shouldn't like this. Because I would say, oh, it's good. I'll have more. He said, give her Fernet. That'll cure it, because it's so bitter and not sweet at all, like Campari is. So he gave me a little bit of Fernet, and I was like, I like it. so there you have it. And then I grew up to be me, if you will. So so that probably explains a lot, doesn't it, Kirsten? If you want to substitute Fernet today, I would love to do that. I'll make the classic, but this would be even a less sweet version and a beautiful light aperitivo. Another thing that I'm going to bring to your attention that I love, and you could do today as well in tiptoeing into the land of bitter cocktail, but light bitter cocktail, would be to use Pernod or pastis. The French like this, and the Italians do too, anisette. It's made from anise, right? So it tastes just this beautiful fennelly, finocchio, this wonderful anise flavored alcohol. The Greeks have ouzo, right? The Zambuca would be one, but Zambuca has a lot of sugar in it. So I like the pastis or the Pernod. It turns this beautiful yellowy color in your cocktail once it mixes with water, and it's really delightfully bitter. I don't have any of that because I drank it all. Any of my friends here on our Instagram lives will know, like, oh, Moni and her weird drinks, because I always drink like a Pernod and a pastis with just some sparkling water and a little bit of lemon. So fantastic. So today what I have though is it's this cutest little bottle ever. I can't believe I still have some left. Because it's a small, dainty amount. But this is by St. George, and it's their absinthe. It's their absinthe vert. So, and I had a little bit, because you know I need to quality assure everything, and it's really fantastic. I have been using St. George's Spirits for a few weeks now in our cocktail sessions. We used a chili vodka, I used their citrus. In our Mother's Day lavender cocktails, I used their botanical gin. So wonderful. So I'm really, hey Dave Sobel. So I'm really grooving on the St. George's. But again, this is a beautiful, herbaceous, medicinal, not very sweet way that you can still make a very light cocktail. So great. So very fun, very fun. Another thing that people actually have been commenting on via Instagram is how to make not just a light cocktail, but maybe even a mocktail. So another way that you can add some interesting flavors to sparkling water would be to add a bitter, right? It's that bitter that's so intriguing and interesting. So have yourself some bitters. So there are cardamom bitters, black walnut. I have rhubarb. I used these in the Mother's Day cocktail with rhubarb, rose, and lavender. If you guys were with me for my birthday and for Mother's Day, that was an amazing cocktail. I also have plum bitters. I have orange bitters. I have some bitters from the Bitter Housewife. These are really fun. Hey, Jenna! These are really fun to put into your sparkling water with a twist. To have completely non-alcoholic, or you can also add a splash of vermouth or another, vermouth, by the way, is just a fortified wine, okay? So we're gonna play with some vermouth today too. It's a wine with additional herbs in there that make it a bit interesting, sometimes also slightly sweet, but you could do vermouth and soda and some bitters for a very light alcohol aperitif, or omit the alcohol altogether and just make a mocktail with a beautiful twist of citrus and some bitters and some soda water, right? It's all there. It's all there for your experimentation, and that's what I think is fun. So I know, a couple of years ago, those cocktails at the cans of seltzer water at Trader Joe's became really popular, and I'm not knocking them. Because they were low calorie and just a little bit of alcohol. Well, guys, save your money and make something more delicious, and don't have chemicals in your drink. Instead, make yourself a light cocktail like we're gonna do today. Make yourself a light Aperol Spritz, either using the Campari or the Aperol, or use the Suze, or use the Fernet, or use Lillet. Use some other things, and maybe with some bitters, maybe with a twist, maybe with some soda water. And you can create yourself a lighter version of a beautiful cocktail that's gonna be fresh with ingredients that you know what's in there, and it's gonna be cheaper and nicer and better and more festive. So do it. No need to buy those cans of whatever for a nice low alcohol drink, okay? Good. All right, so that's a lot of talking. I know. Let's get to drinking. Less talk, more drink. Yeah. Okay. So I have a glass ready for my Aperol Spritz. So let's do that. Get your glass ready. And again, we don't need a cocktail shaker today. How nice. What a little reprieve. But we do need ice. This is a light and sunny cocktail. Let's bring some brightness into our lives, because I sure as hell need that. The choice is yours. I have these king cubes that I'm going to use today. Again, because the lower rate that your ice will melt, so if it's a big chunk of ice, it'll melt more slowly, the less diluted your cocktail would be. So 2 cubes are good for me. Unless you drink them super fast, like me and my sister do, right, Andy? You can also use the perfect cubes, which are great. So you can have those. Now, if you're making an Aperol Spritz, let's talk about that for a second. That is an easy ratio. Anyone could remember. It's 3-2-1. It's 3 parts bubbly And you can use Prosecco, you could use a rosé bubbly, you could use regular bubbly. You could even, well, we'll get to sparkling water in a minute, but it's essentially 3 parts of bubbly wine. Instead, if you don't have bubbly wine, you can use regular wine. You can also use vermouth, right? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? So it's 3 parts of bubbly to 2 parts of bitter to 1 part of soda. So 3 to 1 makes a typical Aperol Spritz with a twist. I'm not gonna make that. Sorry, I don't like that. I don't like it as much. I find that the Aperol or the Campari is still a little sweet. And most of the time, unless you're shelling out for a fancy bottle of bubbles, it's gonna be sweet too. So what happens is you're left with it's a sweet, fizzy drink that may work for some. So I'm not knocking you if you love that classic. For me, I want something a little bit more bitter tasting. I want it to be less sweet, especially because, yeah, if you buy an inexpensive bottle of bubbles, because you're mixing it with booze anyway, yeah, I just find it's a little touch too sweet. So what I'm actually gonna make today, what I'm calling an Aperol Spritz, is really going to be a Negroni Sbagliato. So what does that mean in Italian? Oh, sbagliato. I made a mistake. It's like you were gonna make a Negroni and oops, you made this cocktail instead. So, okay, oh, you love the flavor of Aperol, you do 50-50. Okay, yeah, you could do that too, 50-50. I'm gonna encourage you to go a little bit more bitter, Caitlin. So, what I'm going to recommend today, or what I'm going to make for my Negroni Sbagliato, is I'm going to do 1 part of Aperol. And again, you can use Campari, you can use Aperol. So I've got that cutie here. I'm going to do 1 part sparkling wine. And again, you can use regular wine. You can skip the sparkling wine altogether. I'm going to use 1 part vermouth. Here's where the Negroni Sbagliati comes in. And then if you wanted a little bit more fizzy and a little light, you know, you could also add another part of the sparkling wine, but that's where I use 1 part sparkling water. Or none. Your mileage may vary. So that's kind of really nice and sunny. I'm gonna give it a little taste, but I do want to talk about the garnish for a second. I love the gradation of color that you get from this. And it's so refreshing and lovely, but I think that little bit of vermouth in there for me like really rounds out the flavor and it doesn't make it as sweet. But I am missing the orange. So a couple of things you can do here. I wanted to show you the citrus so I can give you a few options for when you are adding an orange flavor to your cocktail. So you see this orange here. If you just cut off the end, you get what's called the coin, the 2 ends. There are 2 coins in each orange. And this has a really nice amount of zest here and the essential oils. So you can kind of really squeeze that into your cocktail or run this along the rim and you get a really nice bit of orange. In fact, this has a nice amount of the essential oil. So when you see a bartender that sometimes like lights a bit on fire, you know, they to get that burnt orange flavor, it's the oil that they're lighting on fire. So they get a lot from the ends here. So that's what they're using. But you know, you've only got 2 and there's a lot more orange in here. And once you use the 2 coins, then what do you got? A couple of options. So I want to make sure, yeah, you guys can see here. There we go. Yeah. So we've got a couple of options here. You can cut at this point and make what are called wheels. Yeah. And also if you really love like this flavor, you could always add it to your cocktail glass first and like bash it around a second to release it. But you can take a wheel and you make a little incision in the wheel and you make a nice little twist. And this is getting, now my cocktail's getting really full of orange, but you know, you kind of get this really nice look here. See, of a nice little orange wheel. But another thing that I wanted to show you guys, and this is what I have in the photograph. So if you're looking for the recipe for this cocktail and many other recipes, hop on to our blog hipcooks.com. You'll see the recipe for this cocktail and the picture that I have with a real twist that I'm just about to show you. And of course, many other recipes. So if you want to make a real twist, you've got your coins removed from either side, maybe even a few wheels. And then what you do here is you take a spoon. And with that spoon, you're gonna kind of push in and remove all the flesh and even a little bit of the pith. This is really fun to do, by the way. I do this with lemons when I wanna make a lemon twist. So you kind of work with your spoon all the way around here, separating the flesh. And then I'm gonna flip it over and do the same to the other side, okay? So there we go. And what should happen then as you work through it is you can boop, remove all the orange from the orange peel. Super fun to do. And you can save this, by the way, please. This goes right into tomorrow's smoothie, right? We're not wasting anything these days. But then once you have your hollowed out citrus, you can slice an end. And then you can see here, you can cut this into strips of any size, but this is how you get your beautiful twists that go into cocktails. So these are especially nice for when you're making a lemon twist for a martini, right? This is a real twist. Oh, I forgot to show you. Oopsie, I'll backpedal for 1 second. Another thing that you guys can do, and I'm sure you do, here I'll use this for a lemon. If you have a Y-shaped peeler, that's another way. So you can take your Y-shaped peeler and that'll get a nice fat twist without a lot of pith. So these are nice too, but I gotta say, like sometimes I really just love the super long, super sexy twists. If you like, you can also get sort of fussy and persnickety and you can trim all the pith off. So for the picture of the Aperol Spritz that's in the blog, I did that. I got a little, when I take pictures of things, I get a little more fancy. So there you go. And in fact, you've probably seen this in bars. Oh, I've got a pencil right here. You can get really Martha Stewart on this, and you can put your twist around. I think most people use you'd use the straw. I just happen to see a pencil here. You can store your twists like this. You get all Martha Stewart, and you can line them up in your fridge or even in your freezer. And then when you need one, it takes to its shape really, really well. So if you really want to be fancy, then you can take one of these and then put them on your cocktail glass, and you're just, gosh, you're just so cute. This would be a cocktail for a queen, I think. So there it is. That is really what I'm enjoying today is the Negroni Sbagliati. So an erroneous Negroni. Next week, I want to do a summertime Negroni. So we're going to keep going with Campari and with Aperol and those things. And then after that, we're going to continue in the land of bitter for a little bit because it's just my favorite. So yeah, so if you guys love stuff like Fernet, if working with the Suze isn't too crazy for you guys, or if you want to do a little bit with Pernod, Pastis, or Absinthe, I would love to do some stuff like that with you guys as well. So I'm going to say cheers to everyone, and I'm going to look at some chat requests. Specifically for my Hipcooks teachers. I want to see what you made and what you're drinking. But again, let me say, if you didn't have the Aperol or the Campari for this beautiful drink, you can use Lillet. You can just use vermouth. You can use many other different types of bitters. So again, I'm really excited to see what you guys have over here. So yeah, so if you are one of my Hipcooks teachers, please hop on to request with me. I also thought, cheers, by the way. Let me take a sip. Oh, it's so refreshing and so nice. I love it. Let me, as I let people on, I just wanted to tell you guys about the live stream classes that we've been having. So perfect. Here comes, I taught a Greek class today, so I'll let her tell you about that. But next week we are doing cavatelli with Joe. We're doing so many fun things. Hey, Kirsten.
Here.
Hi, what you got?
Cheers.
Wait, tell us what?
I went pretty simple. So I have an Amaro it's called Amaro Angelino, and it's super, super local. So all of the botanicals and the grapes that it's distilled from are all like LA based.
Perfect.
I just did that and tonic.
Perfect. Oh, wonderful. Oh, what a great idea. I didn't mention, because I just rocked out the vermouth and the soda today. But you could actually replace both of those with a tonic. Yeah, that's a really, really nice idea. Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah, it adds another dimension to the bitter with the quinine.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially if it's not a super sweet kind of tonic, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I wonder, I'd like to challenge you and Scott to make your own tonics.
Oh, we keep
Love that.
about, can we have a keg of tonic in the house? It will happen someday.
I would like that. I would support you. Jay-Z doesn't have Campari, but that's no excuse, Jay-Z, not to have a cocktail, right? So again, even just a lillet or vermouth with a twist, you can throw in some sparkling water and make it light. You can not do that. It's all cool. So how was your live stream class today, Kirsten?
It was great. We made avocado soup, and it was awesome people. We had a great time. We all had a really lovely lunch. The live stream classes are so fun.
Yay! And next week we're going to do some more live stream. So here, I'll tell you guys about it. Cheers, Kirsten.
Cheers.
All right. And if any other teachers want to join me, you're welcome to. But I did want to say that, next week we're going to do cavatelli. So a beautiful homemade pasta with Joe. It's his mother Carmela's secret recipe. Think like, you can also actually make ricotta gnocchi with these, but he turns them into cavatelli, and it's just fantastic. So join us for that live stream class. You can make dinner for your family. Next week, I will be teaching back again. I'm going to make a molten chocolate lava cake. And so looking forward to that, because it's just little individual size. So on those nights when you want a little sweet treat, but you've only got 3 ingredients, let's turn that into something decadent and delicious. So we're going to do those next week. I'm also thinking of doing a cocktail class as a live stream. So I'd like to really remake our lavender cocktail and our lavender Mother's Day cocktail. So if you guys are interested in something like that, please comment on the Instagram. I'd love to know, because I can also do live stream cocktail classes, and we can make different simple syrups together. It can be much more interactive, like our live stream classes are, and inexpensive. So we'd love to see you join one of those. All right. And in the meantime, if any other teacher wants to come and cheers with us, if you've made an interesting cocktail. Joe, do you have an Aperol Spritz? Yes, lavender cocktail, Jenny? Okay, I will do that. It was so delicious, and it's really worth a remake, especially because those 2 videos were lost at Instagram. We had some technical difficulties with those. So yeah, I love that too. And I have French and English lavender blooming right now. So fun. So thank you, Hillary. We loved having you in our live stream class. So yeah, let's do it. Joe made a classic. You want to show us? Or are you camera shy right now? It's okay. I understand. All right, everyone. Well, thank you all so much. If there are other cocktails you'd like to see, do let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to keep on keeping on with my land of bitters. I think next week I'm going to make a summertime Negroni. Oh, my trash Aperol. Very nice. I think I'd really like your white trash Aperol. That sounds really good. Joe, yeah, how do you show me? You go and you request where your little smiley faces are, request to come on with me and we can cheers with everyone. So, Jen Gaio, never used vermouth before. I know, it's not a classic for Aperol Spritz. And in fact, that's why it's called Negroni Sbagliato. The Italians have the most delightful names for things that they do wrong. That's why I said Hipcooks, you know, Hipcooks never burns anything. A Hipcooks caramelizes something. So the Italians, when they make pasta and it's poorly cut, like you don't have the nice thin lines of tagliatelle or linguine, you know what they call it? Mal sbagliati. So poorly cut, but it just sounds so great, right? so there are just these wonderful wonderful names. So this is a Negroni Sbagliato. So again, Jenny, you were asking for the ratios. Yeah, I'm delighted to repeat them for you. So instead of Negroni, instead of a, cheers, instead of an Aperol Spritz would be 3-2-1, 3 bubbly, 2 Campari or Aperol, and 1 soda water. Let's make a Negroni Sbagliato, which would be, that's 3 parts bubbly, 2 parts Campari or Aperol, and 1 part soda. Sorry, what? 1 part soda if you wish, and 1 part vermouth. Sorry, 1-1-1. Did I just say that? I'll say it again. 1 vermouth, 1 Campari, 1 sparkling, and a splash of soda. And of course, the twist of your dreams. You can do a curly-Q twist. You can do a coin like I have. You can do a wheel. You can do a cut wheel. So many great things. I will. So Hillary, I'll put it in the Instagram and also at the blog site. But Sbagliato, I'm writing it down with my pencil here. Sbagliato. Sbagliato. It means oops, which is so great. Wonderful, wonderful. And oh, somebody has a hood strawberry in theirs. That's beautiful. In fact, very classic in a summertime Negroni to add strawberry. You can even add a strawberry puree. In fact, maybe I'll do that next week. You are giving me ideas, coriander quilts, and I love your Instagram handle too. All right, guys, so we're hitting the half-an-hour mark here. If anyone has any questions or if anyone would like to join with me, I'm checking for Joe. No, I don't see him. That's okay. We'll figure it out later. Otherwise, cheers, salud, and to your good health and to some bright sunshine into your life today and this afternoon. And we will see you here next week. Cheers, Kirsten. Cheers, everyone. Nice. I know. So good. All right, you guys. Yep. Beautiful holiday weekend. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. Next time, Joe. Next time. All right, everyone. Thank you.